Hello students. I am Professor Sunita SHIRSAT. You are hearty welcome in my audio, in my studio. In criticism today we have new chapter, intentional policy. If you like my video, please like it, share it, and if you like my channel, please subscribe it. What is intentional policy? Intentional policy, that means false idea that many people believe is true. The term used in 20th century literary criticism to describe the problem inherent in trying to judge a work of art by assuming the intent or purpose of the artist to create it. It is introduced by W.K. Winsett Jr. and Monoresi Beardsley in The Verbal Icon, which is written in 1954. The approach was a reaction to the popular belief that to know what the author intended, what he had in mind at the time of writing, was to know the correct interpretation of the work. The intentional policy forces the literary critic to assume the role of cultural historian or that of psychologist who must define the growth of particular artist's vision in terms of his mental or physical state at the time of his creative. They assert that an author's intended aims and meanings in writing a literary work, whether these are asserted by the author or merely inferred from our knowledge of the author's life, and the opinions are irrelevant to the literary critic because the meaning, structure, and the value of text are inherent within the finished, freestanding, and public work of literature itself. Reference to author's supposed proposes to the author's personal situation and state of mind is held to be a harmful mistake because it diverts our attention to such external matters and thus may cause the neglecting of the internal constitution and inherent value of literary product. What is the original of intentional policy? As new criticism develops in 1920s to 1930, the critics do not consider readers' response, author's intention or historical and cultural context. In 1954, the intentional policy was published. It argues strongly against any discussion of an author's intention or intended meaning, as the words on the page were all that matter. Importation of meanings from outside the text was quite irrelevant and potentially distracting. What is the definition of intentional policy? Image of Brahms in a glossary of literary terms, it's rightly given. They assert that the author's intended aims and meanings in writing a literary work, whether these are asserted by the author or merely inferred from our knowledge of the author's life and opinions, are irrelevant to the literary critic because the meaning, structure, and value of text are inherent within the finished, freestanding, and public work of literature itself. Reference to in C. Hugh Holmes' A Handbook to Literature, it is similarly said that contemporary criticism, the term is used to describe the error of judging success, meaning of work of art by the author's expressed or ostensible apparent intention in producing it. But it is also noted therein that Winsett and Beardsley say the author must be admitted as a witness to the meaning of his work. It is merely that they would subject his testimony to rigorous scrutiny in the light of work itself. In Cuden's Dictionary of Literary Terms, we read the error of criticizing and judging a work of literature by attempting to assess what the writer's intention was and whether or not he has fulfilled it rather than concentrating on the work itself. William K. Winsett was an American professor of English, literal theorist and critic. Winsett is often associated with the concept of intentional policy, which he developed with Monory Beardsley in order to discuss the importance of an author's intention for the creation of a work of art. Thank you.